Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So as you can tell by the title of this video, it is going to be quite different than what I normally do. One of my favorite things to watch here on YouTube is book content. So if you're not into reading, I completely understand. Feel free to skip this video and I will be back with an arts and crafts video very soon. But if you do love reading or you just want to listen to me ramble about books, then keep watching and I'm going to share with you my little book haul. So I just started reading back in August and I have acquired quite the collection so far. Before August, the last books I read were Twilight and middle school. So it took quite a while for me to get into reading. I remember I used to hate it, but the reason why I think I didn't like it is because I was being forced to read in school, and now I can just read for the fun of it. So yes, I have quite the little library going, but I want to share with you guys all of the books that I have got in April so far. So most of these were from a little Barnes and Noble trip. I was not planning to get, I think I got 5 of these books from that trip, and I was only planning to buy my mom A Court of Mist and Fury, and I ended up going and buying 5 books. So that was not the plan, but okay, so first one is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. If you are into book content, fantasy, romance, I'm sure you have heard of at least Sarah J. Maas, if not the whole Throne of Glass series. This one is everywhere. So I'm actually on chapter 14. I did read Assassin's Blade first, and I'm really glad I went ahead and got that one out of the way. A lot of people debate on reading it first or third or fourth. I am glad I read it first because I think it's going to give me it gave me a lot of backstory into this one, and I think it's going to let me connect to the characters better. So I'm glad I went ahead and did that. I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much if I read it third or fourth and stopped midway through the series to basically go backwards, because that book's a whole lead up into Throne of Glass and you have a better understanding of kind of where this starts. So I personally would probably recommend reading Assassin's Blade first, but you can do whatever you want and read it in whatever order you would like, but I'm not the best at explaining books. This is basically an assassin who is trying to prove herself, and this one, it kind of starts off where she is having to fight her way out of something that happened at the end of Assassin's Blade. So I am liking it a lot so far. It's kind of been hit and miss with Sarah J. Maas for me, but so far I'm liking Throne of Glass and I'm excited to keep reading the series. I think there's like 6 or 8 books, so it's gonna be a while, but I'm really liking it so far. So next book we have here is a special edition from OwlCrate. This is A Fragile Enchantment by Allison Saft. And in the back says, "This had been a fairy tale after all." So I had some credits on OwlCrate and I just thought this cover was so pretty. I love the pinks. The art is really pretty. I believe this is a fantasy romance young adult. That's about all I know. I have heard some good things about it, so I'm excited to read this book, but I mainly bought it for the cover because I love pink and I just thought it was really pretty. Okay, so next one I picked up is Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Su Lin Tan. This is a national bestseller. The back says, "A captivating and romantic debut fantasy inspired by the legend of Chang Yi, the Chinese moon goddess, in which a young woman's quest to free her mother pits her against the most powerful immortal in the realm." So that sounds right up my alley. I love the cover. I think it's so pretty. An artist I follow, Lotus Bubble, she was reading this and talked about how much she liked it. I believe this is a fantasy romance young adult, but it sounds really good and I just thought it was really pretty, so I went ahead and picked it up. Next book is Court of the Vampire Queen. This one is by Katie Robert. I don't know a whole lot about this one either. A lot of the times I just pick it up based on the cover if it sounds good. And if most of the back sounds interesting. This one says 3 powerfully alluring vampire men and 1 queen to rule them all. So that sounds pretty good. This one's kind of chunky. This one it's actually 491 pages, which is not too bad, but I'm excited to read it. I heard it was kind of spicy, so we'll see. But yeah, that's Court of the Vampire Queen. So I read Dawn of Onyx, I think like a month, maybe a month and a half ago. So I saw a promise of Peridot, which is the sequel to Dawn of Onyx, at Barnes & Noble. So I went ahead and picked it up. Next, seductive, sweeping, action-packed installment in the Addictive Sacred Stones trilogy. So I guess there's gonna be a third one in this series, but I think this one just came out like a week or two ago. So I'm excited to read it. I did really enjoy Dawn of Onyx, so yeah, I went ahead and picked up the sequel. Okay, so then I picked up Heartless Hunter, and I was seeing this one everywhere. It's her deadliest enemy or her greatest love. So that sounds really good. I think this one is like a witch and a witch hunter, but I'm really excited to read this one. I think I'm gonna pick this one up after I finish the Throne of Glass series, but it sounded really good and I've heard amazing things about this book. A lot of the BookTube girls I follow gave this book 5 stars, so I'm really excited to read it. But it says, enemies to lovers, it doesn't get more than high stakes than a witch and a witch hunter, fallen in love, and best-selling author, latest romantic fantasy. So I picked that one up. Next we have Gild. This is the Plated Prisoner series. I think there's 5 or 6 in this series, but this is another one I've heard a lot about in the romance fantasy genre. It's by Raven Kennedy. And then this one basically says it's a compelling story inspired by the myth of King Midas. The gilded world of Aurea will grip you from the very first page and show dark side of greed through the eyes of the woman he gold touched. So sounds really good, and I thought the cover was pretty and the sprayed edges. So the last one I picked up at Barnes & Noble was A Fate Inked in Blood. This is by Danielle L. Jensen. So this is another one I kept seeing everywhere on Book Talk and YouTube, and I saw it at Barnes & Noble and I thought the cover was really pretty. It has these blue like foiled edges, so I had to pick this one up. I've heard a lot of good things about this one as well. And this one says, a shield maiden blessed by the gods battles to unite a nation under a power-hungry king while fighting her growing desire for his fiery son in this Norse-inspired fantasy romance. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed this April book haul. Let me know some books that you're currently reading or some of your favorite ones, and I will see you in my next video.